It was late, around 11:30 p.m., when I heard it. Laughter. At first, I thought my wife, Sarah, was on a call with her sister. But the longer I listened, the more uneasy I became. Her laugh wasn't casual, it was nervous, rehearsed, almost forced. Curiosity got the better of me. I muted the TV and leaned toward the thin wall separating the living room from our home office. That's when I caught her words. I deserve better than this marriage. You don't excite me anymore. We've grown apart, and I can't keep pretending. My chest tightened. She wasn't on the phone. She was practicing. Practicing her divorce speech. I sat frozen, every muscle stiff. My wife, the woman I'd built a life with for 7 years, was rehearsing how to leave me. Part of me wanted to storm in, demand answers. But I couldn't move. I just sat there in silence, hearing her repeat lines with different tones, as if trying to nail the perfect delivery. This isn't about someone else. This is about me finally choosing happiness. That line was what broke me. Isn't about someone else? My gut told me otherwise. People don't practice speeches like that unless they're trying to cover something up. For the next few days, I played dumb. I watched her closely, noticing patterns I'd ignored before: late-night texting, sudden work dinners, and a guarded phone she never let out of her sight. I began to spiral. My mind raced with questions. Who was she texting? Was there another man? Or was she just done with me? I wasn't ready to confront her without proof. So I did what I never thought I'd do in my marriage: I snooped. One night, while she showered, I unlocked her iPad that synced with her phone. My hands shook as I opened the messages. And there it was. A thread with a contact saved as A. The texts were flirtatious, intimate, filled with inside jokes I had no context for. One message read: "When you give that speech, just remember, you're choosing us. You and me against the world." My stomach flipped. She hadn't just been rehearsing a divorce speech. She'd been rehearsing a speech to clear the way for him. I wanted to throw the iPad across the room. Instead, I took screenshots. Dozens of them. Every word of betrayal saved. For days, I carried the weight of the secret. At dinner, she'd smile across the table, ask about my day, and I'd pretend nothing was wrong, even though I knew she was planning her escape. Then came the night she was finally ready. I heard her in the office again, laughing nervously, going over her lines one last time. My heart pounded. But this time, I was ready for her. The next morning, Sarah sat me down at the kitchen table. Her face was serious but calm, as if she had been preparing for this performance for weeks. "We need to talk," she began. I nodded, keeping my expression neutral, even though I knew exactly what was coming. She launched into the speech almost word for word from her rehearsals. "I've been unhappy for a long time. This marriage doesn't fulfill me anymore. It's not about anyone else, it's just that I need to choose myself." Her delivery was flawless. Too flawless. I waited until she finished, then leaned back in my chair, pretending to process. After a long pause, I asked, "Are you sure this isn't about someone else?" She stiffened. "Of course not." That was my cue. Calmly, I slid my phone across the table. On the screen were the screenshots of her messages with A. Her face went pale. The color drained from her cheeks as she scrolled, realizing the depth of what I knew. How did you? I heard you rehearsing, Sarah. 4 days. And I gave you a chance to come clean. But instead, you chose to lie. Again. Her lips trembled, but she tried to recover. "It's not what you think. He listens to me in ways you don't anymore." I laughed bitterly. "Listens? You're planning a future with him. Don't downplay this." Silence. For the first time, she was speechless, not because she didn't have a rehearsed line, but because the truth had shattered her script. Finally, she whispered, "So what happens now?" I looked at her coldly. "Now? You get what you wanted. A divorce. But not on your terms. On mine. Over the next week, I contacted a lawyer. With the evidence I had, screenshots, timelines, her late-night rehearsals, my case was ironclad. My lawyer explained that in our state, proof of infidelity would heavily impact asset division. Sarah tried everything. She begged. She cried. She even attempted to flip the script, accusing me of invading her privacy. But every time, I returned to the simple fact, she had planned to discard me like I was nothing. And here's the twist. The man she was risking everything for, wasn't exactly Prince Charming. Once her marriage collapsed and the truth came out publicly, he ghosted her. Deleted her number. Blocked her on social media. It turned out, he wasn't looking for a partner. He was looking for a thrill. And once the excitement of sneaking around vanished, so did he. I finalized the divorce, walked away with most of what we owned, and never looked back. Months later, I heard from a mutual friend that Sarah had moved back in with her parents, struggling to rebuild her life. Meanwhile, I had found peace in my independence, even started dating again. The memory of hearing her laugh that night still stings, but now, it feels more like the starting point of my freedom rather than the end of my world. She rehearsed her speech to leave me. But in the end, it was me who walked away on my own terms. And that's a performance I'll never forget.